Okay, this is our monthly get-together with the Racine County Traffic Safety Commission, making life a little safer for you. And today, we have two returnees, two alumni. Patrice Brunette is here. She is the Racine County Highway Superintendent. And Chris Gallagher, Racine County Engineering Manager. Hey, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay. So, explain your jobs. Patrice, let's start with your job.
I have the Public Works Department underneath me, so we have the highway crew who is either doing maintenance in the summer, doing potholes and possibly some road reconstruction, or we're the ones that are plowing the county roads in the winter time.
So this is your busy time of year with potholes, huh?
It's always a busy time of year for potholes.
You know what? I travel Spring Street a lot. It's a county road. And I know the railroad tracks you guys aren't in control of that. The railroads are in charge of the railroad tracks.
Right.
But I was talking recently to Melissa Caprillion, who's one of the county board supervisors. I said, have you gone on that railroad track? I'm either going to pop a kidney or an axle. I haven't decided which first. During the winter, it got real bad. It wasn't that bad. Yeah. And you travel those railroad tracks on Spring Street?
I do. Mm-hmm. They are really bad. I agree.
Now, the railroad's responsible for those, right?
Correct.
Not the county or anything else. How do you get the railroad to shake their bottoms and fix it?
Well, we just wrote some resolutions.
Now we move over to you, Chris.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's timely that you asked that question because we just wrote some resolutions to follow the process with the Office of Commissioner of Railroad to basically put the railroad on notice to come and fix the track. So you can ask informally, but the formal process is to go through and write a resolution, and the county will send.
So you can force them to
certified
do
letter.
it.
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
And then you can get the help from the Office of Commissioner of Railroad. So that's kind of the key to it. So we had a lot of conversations last summer, and some meetings on site to try to get them to make those tracks a little bit better. And with not a lot of results, so we had to go the official paperwork route. So that's what we're doing now.
Memo to the president of Union Pacific, troublemakers in Racine. Wow. They are bad. And it's not the railroad's fault they're bad. It's just the weather takes its toll on these roads.
Right.
Now, here's something. You got to, before we get to the safety part of this whole thing, when you travel on roads, it's not just Racine. You see, especially on Spring Street there by Highway 31, they have like striations of concrete put in. It's like section of concrete, regular road. Concrete, regular road. It's almost like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, usually.
What is that?
Well, usually you see that when utilities or things have, some kind of a retrofitted fix, and so they're patches, effectively.
Yeah, but they after a while it goes bum 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 when you're going over them because. Now the other thing, I hate to keep complaining here, but whenever Melissa Caprillion's in here, I always complain to her, and same thing with my alderman, Dave Mack. What is with these manhole covers that are like 3 or 4 inches below the street? You hit those things and boom. I mean, you can feel, especially on Main Street, which isn't your problem, but there are other roads in the county where you hit, you know what I'm talking about? Where the manhole covers are like 3 inches below the street.
Yeah, sometimes they're not adjusted properly during another project. Well, you have to cut out the pavement around them and put rings on them or a taller casting and then level it up to that and then put material back. So.
Aren't you glad, Patrice, you're not getting the tough questions this morning?
I know. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, so Chris Gallagher, you are the Racine County Engineering Manager. Explain what that is. We just got a sampling of it here. But.
Sure, yeah. My department basically does the planning for the county projects and cost procurement. So we spend a lot of time looking for federal aid, state aid, things that we can do to help leverage our projects and then plan the roads that need to be reconstructed or repaired. So.
Okay, so we're here. You can follow us if you Google Racine County Staying Safe. Racine County Staying Safe. You can follow because some of this is pretty visual. And you can go on your phone or your computer, wherever you go. Just Google Racine County Staying Safe, and you'll see what we're talking about here. It's work zone safety. That's what we're talking about here. Right now on Spring Street, the workmen are out there, and people are still zooming around. And, it's so easy to, even if you just tap them, it's deadly.
For sure.
And these guys are doing a lot of work there on Spring Street, a lot of trucks, a lot of going out toward the street. And the barrels are out there making it tighter and tighter. So you got to be careful. Okay, let's talk about some of these designs here. The right lane ends. This is one of those. By the way, all these signs are the square. How do you? What's that design? It's not a square sign. What do you say?
The diamond?
The diamond. Very good. See, that's why you're the engineer. The diamond. It's a straight line with a crooked line. Right lane ends. And it doesn't mean go as fast as you can right to the beginning and worm your way in. It means get in as soon as you can. But there's always going to be one person who wants to rush in there, top speed, and cut everybody off so they can be 1 second in front of you.
Yep. The main thing is just to be prepared that you're going to lose a lane.
And they tell you that so far in advance. It's not like it's going to be some, whoa, we got to what's happened here? They do tell you that way in advance. I can ask you, how far in advance is something like that Spring Street thing that's going on now? We'll talk about that in a minute. How far in advance is that planned out?
Years.
Years.
Like in the case of the Spring Street project, that project was actually in queue before I even came to the county in 2023.
Really? That far in advance?
Yeah, several years out to get applications in for that particular one is an STP project, a surface transportation project. So we're funded by DOT, and actually DOT then is under that program is paying 80% of the cost of the project. So it's actually a boon for taxpayers in Racine.
You know there's going to be trouble when you're going on the road one day and you see on the grass on the side of the road the barrels are out. I said, uh-oh, something's coming. Mm-hmm. You don't know what it is, but something's coming. Okay, right lane ends means you got to merge. Doesn't mean you run to the front of the line as quick as you can. This happens on the interstate all the time when there's projects. They all start. They want to merge at the end. You know, we don't like those people. Okay, next one, the flagger ahead. Now, you see, this is dangerous because these guys are literally on the road. They're right there. These are the guys with the flag kind of warning you there's a truck going to back out, or we've got one lane here and we've got to share that lane, and they kind of do the best they can. You move, okay, you stop. And there's a lot of coordination. They're prepared to stop, slow down, stay alert. A trained worker will be directing traffic. These guys are in harm's way with all these drivers out there.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous job, being a traffic flagger.
Wow. It looks easy, but it's not easy because you got to coordinate with the guy who's right down the road.
Yeah, usually by radio.
Yeah, so you don't want, like, traffic going both ways in the same lane.
Yeah, and then they have to deal with people that are, like, not happy about the situation, that are yelling at them that they want to go and stuff like that. People aren't always, like, willing to listen either. So between the traffic and the danger and angry people, it's a hard job.
That's why we have tasers. They start acting up, give them a zap in their car. All right. One more before we take the break here. Two-way traffic. You're no longer on a divided highway. Expect oncoming traffic to and drive with caution. Now, this is what's going on now on Spring Street.
Correct.
They got it down where, I mean, there are barrels everywhere. You really got to slow down going through there. And there's always somebody on your bumper that says, come on, let's move. But, you know, and sometimes somebody might tap a barrel. Now it moves out further into the road. So now you got to be careful. The other day I'm driving there, one of those sandbag things.
Weights, yeah.
Yeah, was out in the road. And now you got to either drive over it or drive around it, you know, keep it under your car. Something I've never seen before. When you drive into Ascension, the hospital, they actually put a temporary light there.
Yep.
I never saw that before.
Yeah, that's because the traffic is sharing, east and westbound traffic is sharing the eastbound lane currently. So obviously you don't have a signal. The permanent signal is not set up for that westbound direction currently. So that gives the folks that are doing the utility work the ability to move the stage around. So we've shut our permanent signal off, and it's now being controlled by that. So we were actually out there yesterday looking at tweaking that a little bit to make it a little safer. So
I like it. I'm going to get one right in front of my house. I'm going to borrow it when you get done because I live on Main Street where the traffic is going. It's like the Great Lakes Dragaway on Main Street. I want to put that red light right in front of my house and control it with like a little remote from my bedroom.
There you go.
Click on it. We are talking to Patrice Brunette, who is the Racine County Highway Superintendent, Chris Gallagher, Racine County Engineer Manager. We're talking about staying safe, and that's work zone safety, part of the Staying Safe program for the Racine County Traffic Safety Commission. I just got a text message, and they want to know, and they're talking about the left turn out of Ascension is confusing. Hard to find the lane to go westbound. You know what they're talking about?
Yeah, the issue is the intersection is skewed there too, and then the westbound lanes are the work zone. So when you're turning left, you're used to being able to take a wider radius into that westbound side, and now that's being the work zone. So it's a tighter turn, and you're using the northmost lane of the eastbound side. So everything's squeezed down there quite a bit, like you were saying before, with the lanes and everything. So it's two-way traffic, like you were just mentioning the two-way traffic sign on the eastbound lanes now. So you're looking to make a pretty tight left there.
Wow. And especially at night, it can be confusing because all you're seeing is orange barrels. Mm-hmm. You don't see any road. It's just barrels, and you're afraid to go make the wrong turn. You'll be in oncoming traffic.
Right.
If you make the wrong turn. All right, road work, 1,500 feet ahead. Now, that's a warning. That doesn't mean, I can travel for another 1,000 feet before I get to the 500 mark. I mean, start thinking now about moving over. Don't be the person who gets to the front of the line and tries to worm your way in, because it's very difficult. You cause problems. When I lived in Atlanta, they were doing work on the interstate, and these guys were trying to worm their way in, and a lot of trucks on 85 and 75 when you go through Atlanta, and the trucks would form a blockade in that lane, because if people just worm their way to the front, there's going to be bumper-to-bumper traffic letting them in, and the trucks used to block them. I didn't like it, but at least I got through nice and smooth, but the truckers do that. All right. Work zone speed limit, 50 miles an hour, or on Spring Street, it's 30. People don't realize that. Right by this Ascension, there's 30 miles an hour. People try to go faster. There's a reason they give those speed limit signs. Follow the posted work zone speed limits. They never go to 50, though. That's kind of fast for a work zone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an example. So with the work zone speed limit will then have whatever the particular set speed will be there. So it's just a warning to pay attention that your speed limit's probably different than what the normal posted speed is.
And also the fines double, don't they, in work zones?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you get a ticket, it's twice as much.
Correct.
And what's your involvement in this?
I don't. Well, our guys will set up the barricades and stuff, but
Oh, that's your job.
yeah. Well, depending on which road it is, but yeah, our guys will set up the work zones, and then we do flag, and then our guys are out there doing maintenance sometimes or doing patches on the roads.
There's got to be like some kind of yard with thousands and thousands of these barrels.
The traffic control companies that own that stuff, yes, have huge warehouses full of that stuff.
When I was a kid, they were oil barrels. They were metal. They weren't the plastic kind. I remember growing up and seeing these big barrels. My dad once, this is before Google and everything, actually found out that it's not back in the 60s, it was not a profitable business to have these manufactured because there was no money in it. And there were companies dropping out of making them. Now they're out of plastic or some kind of plastic, but not the oil drums.
In fact, the weights on the bottom of those drums, if you look closely, those are refabricated tires. They're remnants of old used tires.
Look at you being good for the environment. Who would have thunk it? Okay. So reduce speeds in those work zones, fines double. And remember, in Wisconsin, buckle up. It's the law. Fines are doubled in work zones. We talked about that. Move over or slow down for stopped emergency or maintenance vehicles. Now, you have a ton of them there on the north side of the road on Spring Street. All the tree cutters and all the people from We Energies, they're all over the place. So slow down. It just takes one of them to try to get into his truck on your side. He opens the door and boom, you hit him. Everybody's lives have changed forever. Stay at least 200 feet behind a maintenance vehicle. Oh, good luck. I mean, they've traveled so close to me sometimes, I can't even see their headlights. That's how close they are. Using handheld cell phones in a work zone is illegal in Wisconsin. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know some states, like in New York, in the New York City area on Long Island, you can't even be on a cell phone unless it's hands-free.
Sure.
I didn't know that once I was visiting there, and all of a sudden, boom, people looking at me at the window like, what are you looking at? I didn't realize I was on my phone.
Yeah.
You can't be on your cell phone.
Well,
so in a work zone, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Distracted driving has overtaken inebriated driving in terms of accidents and fatalities. So it's a step to try to mitigate some of that in the work zone.
Yield to emergency vehicles, of course. You think, You think that'd be obvious, but sometimes it's not. Wisconsin law requires motorists to yield to emergency vehicles. Seconds matter in emergencies. Make way for ambulances, fire trucks, police vehicles. When an emergency vehicle approaches, remain calm, maintain control, pull to the right, stop when safe, slow down if you can't move immediately. Do not move at intersections unless it's safe. One-way streets, yield to the safest side available. I see that. I see people pull over as soon as they hear the sirens. I don't feel you ever see any dopes trying to race the vehicles. Follow or parking near emergency vehicles. Maintain 500 feet. Do not park within 300 feet of an emergency scene. See, again, you'd think this stuff would be obvious to people. Planning ahead is the best way to travel safely through work zones. Obey signs. Slow down. Stay alert. Avoid peak weekend travel hours when possible. Allow extra time for work zone delays. Watch electronic message boards for updates. I see you got that out there by the hospital. Find an alternate route if you can because, it's messy. Stay alert for sudden traffic changes. Leave proper braking distance. Consider alternate routes. Stay calm. Safety depends on cooperation. Now, you say years it takes to plan these things out, huh?
Correct.
Whoa. You wouldn't think that, but obviously it does.
Yeah, the design and the funding is what takes the most time. Then there's usually a single construction season. So, like in the case of Spring Street, it will let in April. We expect the roadway contractor to start their work in May and hopefully be wrapped up by the end of October or early November. And then they'll usually reserve some time in the following spring to do some touch-up. So,
see, there was a bill. Somebody was running for governor in the state of New York, and one of the bills was overnight construction only. You start at dark and you end by sunlight. No, it didn't pass. But they do try to do all their work overnight because in New York you have so many cars on the parkways, freeways, I don't call them freeways, expressways, and it gets more dangerous. But overnight the traffic subsides a little bit, so they started working from midnight or 10 o'clock at night on until daybreak on some of these road projects because it was dangerous.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think we have that problem here. What am I missing? Anything in this thing today?
I just think the number one thing is to give yourself plenty of time so that you can go slow. I know that we get behind and we're all busy, but leave in time if you're going through work zones so you can slow down and you can be aware and you can give grace to the guys that are working there. That's the number one thing. Don't be racing. That's not where you're going to catch up time. Just be aware while you're there.
But we have to travel Spring Street to get to Racine Bible Church where we go. Normally 20 minutes from our house. And now the construction, make it a half hour.
Yeah, plan ahead.
Because you don't want to be, he's keeping time on us. Come on. I said 9 o'clock. I didn't say 9:01. Well, that's great. I'm glad we do this because I just learned something. You can't be on a cell phone in a work zone. Whoa. So you live and learn every day. Thank you guys for coming in. And thanks Tom Knitter for setting this all up. He's very good at setting this up every month. So you guys this is old hat for you guys now, right? Coming in?
Yeah.
You know.
Getting to be veterans, yeah.
Yeah, you know how to do this stuff. Pretty soon you'll be doing weekend broadcast for us here. I want to thank Patrice Brunette for coming in, the Racine County Highway Superintendent, Chris Gallagher, Racine County Engineering Manager. How many people you got working for you?
In the engineering department, there's supposed to be 4 of us. We have a vacant position.
That's it?
But yeah, very few of us that are controlling the projects and the planning. So, but we work hand in hand with the ops, Patrice's side and the public works director, and in a larger sense, the county supervisors. So.
How many people you got working for you, Patrice?
64.
Yeah, see, that's what I pictured. A lot of people. Oh, man, a lot going on. And everybody's got to be in sync. Because if you don't, the roads look junky. And I'm glad you guys are keeping it up. I mean, it's good. I mean, I've been in places where the roads are really, really bad. And this is great, the way the roads are in Racine County. And I thank you, too, and your teams for doing that. You do a good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Very good. I'm very happy with the way things are here. And thank you, Tom Knitter, for getting this all together for us. You missed any of this? It is going to be podcast on WRJN.com, civicmedia.us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It'll be up later on today, all right? Wow. That was, whenever I learn something new, I always get excited about it for some reason. I got to stay off my cell phone. Not that I'm on it, but I got to stay off of it.